Hey everyone, welcome back to Corey Craft. Today I was commissioned for a set of tables. It's going to take precedent over the other projects I've got going on. So I'm going to start cleaning up. This is the kitchen knife I've been making. This is going to go to the wayside and clean up the welding table because I'm going to actually need it for welding on versus the stove itself. But I'm going to make a couple of tables just like this. This is a smaller version of the table I'm going to be making. It's got this Z shape to it, floating end here, floating end here. And it's going to be, I think this is 30 by 30. It's going to be 40 by 40 and 70 centimeters tall. It's a little bit larger, so I'll bring you through that project. I brought in my raw material here, which is some 19 millimeter by 19 millimeter, and the wall thickness is 1.6 millimeter square tubing. And I'm going to get it cut up on the bandsaw with the proper lengths and angles cut. The nice thing about this project is all of the cuts that I have to make are 45 degrees and 90 degrees. So I get to set the bandsaw up to a 45 degree, and I don't have to change anything after that. So long that I cut my 40. I can cut this one last. Everything else has 45 degree cuts. So yeah, I'll cut that 90 degree piece last. The first thing I got to do, I got to get the shop cleaned up. It's a mess in here. I've neglected keeping this place clean for a little while. I'm going to get it organized. That way I can make it messy again. Get some trash. So the first thing that I'm going to need to do is get the saw set up. I've already taken the table off and set it up so that I can drop the saw down. I put this little adapter piece on and adjusted it as best as I could. When it comes down, it's got a little spring to relieve the weight of the unit. You can see here the pipe will fit between the clamp there, and the saw blade will just eat it away until it saws all through. And in an earlier video, you could see when I changed this capacitor, because the original capacitor I had blew within a few days of this piece of equipment arriving, but I said I was going to make a mount, and I stuck it in this little hole, and honestly, it's sat in that little hole and it has not moved around, and I'm just going to leave it there. It's perfect. It's not going to do anything. I'll check to see if this is at a 45 degree. It looks like it is. I've got my little triangle piece here, and it looks square with what the blade's going to cut. I think I'm good with it. So this is the metal that I'll be cutting. I'll clamp it in and see how well it clamps and make sure nothing's obstructed. And it turns out that I need some support on the other side. And I've got a 5-gallon bucket that I'll turn upside down. And this seems to be the perfect height. It'll be perfect. And I'll try not to kick the camera stand next time I'm moving around in this area. Why I got all crazy just then. So I'll get it clamped in nice and tight. I'll bring this down, make sure nothing's in the way. There's an adjustment I need to make that's already hitting the metal itself. So I'll go ahead and get that adjusted and be back in a minute. Okay, adjustments have been made. Drop it down. And everything is clear. I'll tighten this one little piece up here for the top portion. And there we go. Done deal. Check the off switch. Make sure that as it drops down, it hits the off switch once the cut's complete. And I'm done. So I have the camera set up here so that you can see in line with the blade straight down with it. And what I need to do is cut the first 45-degree angle instead of the 90 degrees that I've got on there. I cut at the yard. So I'll get it in there. I'll clamp it down, eyeball it for now. Just kind of get it to where it needs to be. Bring the blade down, and I can see that the corner is past the blade for about a 1/4 inch. So what I want to do is bring it back just a little bit, just simply so I don't cut material off as just pure waste. I won't buy the material just to throw it away. All right, so I'm pretty close there, so I'm going to call it good. Okay, I'm back for a second try at this. The first time I tried this, I recorded everything out of frame. So I'm going to explain what I did. There's 2 parts that I need to remember. This is the inside of the corner. This is the outside of the corner. Every measurement I make, I want to be outside corner measurements. So the table is going to be 40 centimeters wide, 40 centimeters long. So the outside corner to outside corner is going to be 40 centimeters, right? And I'm going to mark it at that 40 centimeter mark, come back in and stripe it with my 45 degrees here. One thing I need to make sure I do is orient it correctly, right? These 2 lines are the same exact lines at 40 centimeters from outside corner. However, at my current angle here with my clamp, I cannot push this in here and cut that because, well, my line's going this way. So I actually have to make sure I mark the correct side of the board here. And bring her down and then get her cut. So I'll cut this up. Okay, so we're going to make our first piece cut. I've made that 45 degrees to have a starting point, and we're going to make this second piece. This will be our first 40 centimeter cut of 2 inside corners. Lined up perfectly, right on the line. And it's going to cut, the blade's going to cut through the first wall, and then it's going to go through it like butter, and then cut through that second wall. As it does, it'll hit a switch down here and turn it off. It'll also fling this piece a little bit, just like that. We're done. So that's our first piece. I'll show you where it's going to go on the table. So this is an example of the table, and this piece is going to be right here. Okay, and I'll make a second piece this way. Now, this was easy because it's 2 inside 45 degrees, right? They're both facing the same direction. This one is going to be a 45 degrees, and then it's going to be rotated on a separate plane, 45 degrees up. And this one will be, same 45 degrees inside to inside, and then this one will rotate. This will be inside to inside, and then this one will rotate. This one will be inside to inside, etc. throughout the planes of it. So first cut's good. Tomorrow I'll cut the rest. I got to remember that I'm making 2 tables, so I'm going to cut double of all of my stuff. Oh, my hair is crazy. Anyways, thanks for tuning in to Corey Crafts. I hope you guys enjoy seeing what I do. It's a little bit of everything. It's just the nature of my life. Thanks for being here.